Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Max Makes. Today I just wanted to share with you a very quick tip, a little one trick that I found recently that really solved a big problem for me with my new Mac Mini M1. So, like many people, I've recently got a new M1 because they're so much faster and performant than the old Macs. And the thing is, I need one for Flutter iOS development because basically, as other Flutter developers might know, you can't do iOS development unless you do it on a Mac. So when I got mine, I wanted to use it in headless mode. Basically, I wanted to connect to it remotely over SSH, and the idea was that I was going to use this great feature that VS Code has, Visual Studio Code has, of using an SSH session to basically let you work on a project on a remote machine, in this case there, Mac Mini, as if it's on your local machine. So what it does is it uses SSH to connect to a remote instance of itself running on that machine, and it should work great. Like in theory, it means I can use Visual Studio Code on my Linux machine, so all my shortcuts that I'm used to and everything, along with everything else on my machine, rather than having to VNC into the Mac Mini, which is quite laggy, and also means that I need to use Visual Studio Code there, need to use the Mac shortcuts, etc., or actually even connect it up to a physical screen and keyboard and mouse and so forth. Now, when I tried this, it kind of worked, but I had a really big problem, and this little trick is the solution to that problem. So first of all, I better show you what the problem is. So let's switch over to my other screen and have a look, and let me show you what was going on. So here we are, we're on the terminal here, and let me just try pinging the Mac Mini. So this is just connected, my laptop, the Mac Mini, they're both on the same Wi-Fi access point here at home. And you can see, like, the ping times are just dreadful, and they're all over the place. Like, sometimes we're getting sub 10 milliseconds, sometimes it's like 50, 100, it's just all over the place. It's a bit of a joke, really. And you might be thinking, well, it's just your laptop, there's nothing to do with the Mac Mini. So how about I ping instead, this is on my laptop still, how about I ping my NAS on the same network? Wow, look at that. Just no comparison in terms of response times, or the latency, and much more consistent. As you can see, no huge outliers popping up all over the place. Can let that go for a while. Now, just to prove the point, let me SSH into the Mac Mini. And let me ping the very same NAS. So far, so good. Nice. Oh, look at that. Suddenly 3 times, 4 times the latency. And once again, it's not consistent. It's all over the place. Getting these oh, look at that, 24 all of a sudden, back to 12. It's just like all over the shop. Oh, look, below 10 again, then back up again. And this is what I found. It was just dreadful all over the place. Now, I probably could have even coped with this, but what I found was, apart from these variations in the connection latency, sometimes the whole connection would just freeze, literally for a second or two, and VS Code would just decide that the SSH connection had dropped out and would just want to reload, and the performance has just been dreadful. So as you can see, it's the Mac Mini. It's not my laptop, it's not my network. My network's running a great Ubiquiti Wi-Fi access point and router. So I got a bit stuck with this. I didn't want to go back to using VNC, or even worse, having to connect up a KVM and use mouse and keyboard connected up to the Mac Mini. I wanted to just have it sitting there headless. So what was my solution? Well, let me switch back and I'll show you. So here we are, I'm back here. And so my solution was this little thing. It's probably a bit hard to see because it's very shiny and white, but this is a little 5-port D-Link Ethernet, 1 gigabit Ethernet switch. It's not even a router, it's just a plain old switch, essentially like a USB hub, but just a switch for Ethernet. And this has really done the trick for me, because once I connected this up, and just bear with me for a second, I'll just do, okay, and I'm back. And yeah, so now it's connected. I've connected that switch up to the Ethernet port on the Mac Mini and the Ethernet port on a USB hub that's connected to my laptop, because my laptop doesn't have an Ethernet, like many these days, doesn't have an Ethernet port built in. And this is one little trick, this one little thing, this $20 little Ethernet switch has done amazing things for me. Let's switch back to the terminal and let's have a look, now that it's connected, what kind of performance we get. So here we are, we're back. Now I don't know if I'm still connected to the Mac Mini, so now how about let's ping the NAS. Pretty much the same as what we were having before, but how about now let's ping the Mac Mini. Look at that. No comparison at all. Now we've got basically sub half a millisecond latency between my laptop and the Mac Mini. And this makes all the world of difference, and it's also consistent. Look at that, there's no crazy outliers anymore. It's just very nice, consistent, and of course very fast. Not just the latency, it's also the bandwidth there. It's a 1 gigabit switch, so plenty of bandwidth if I need to transfer large files or anything around as well. But it's really the latency, the key thing is, and the stability of the connection. No crazy pauses in the network, connectivity, nothing like that. This has really solved my big problem with using the Mac headlessly. So now I can use Visual Studio Code from my laptop to the Mac Mini beautifully. Everything works really well. Even streaming large or very fast log files while I'm developing inside Visual Studio Code all works great. So I'll turn this off now because it's pretty boring. It's just consistent, super fast, low latency connectivity between the two. And then see, that's all it took, just that one little 20 odd Australian dollars, the switch. But of course you don't have to get the switch. All kinds of other switches will do the same sort of thing. I'll leave a link below to this particular model if you want to have a look at it on Amazon. But like I said, basically any similar kind of switch will do the trick. So that's just that one little trick I wanted to share with you. Now you might be wondering, or you might not be familiar with how to set this up on either Ubuntu, which is where I've done it on my laptop, or on the Mac Mini. I'll leave some screenshots at the end of this video to help show how to get the wide connection set up. It's not very difficult, but just in case you wanted to see how I did it, I'll make sure I include some there to make it easier if you want to do the same thing for yourself. Well, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up or a comment. Subscribe if you'd like to see more content like this, and be notified when I make more videos. This is just, like I said, just been a quick video to share this neat little trick that, well, it's not even a trick, just neat little thing that I figured out to do to get really nice connectivity between my laptop and Mac Mini to use it in a headless manner. Well, thanks very much, and I'll see you all next time.